So this is really a nascent technology, and let's talk a little about what AR is before we jump into some examples of it. So augmented reality is a lot of things. You know, we have augmented reality every day in our normal life, and we augment the reality of our sound, right? Our phones make sound, they buzz, they beep. You know, our music comes from our electronic devices. So sound augmentation is totally normal for us, right? But 100 years ago, we were just on the precipice of that happening. The phonograph had been invented, but it wasn't mass distributed. And we are at that same point with augmented reality right now. So anyhow, AR on one end is just sort of overlays of reality. There's a lot of marker-based AR. This is probably, there's been more marker-based stuff that's done in brands than anything else. Marker-based AR is really problematic. Users have a big difficulty shooting a camera or mobile device at a marker and then having like a valid experience with it. Mobile-based AR is really hot and really big, and this is an example of a sort of an app where you go around a town and you find zombies. And you see a lot of apps like this. There's something called the layer browser where you walk around with your phone and you're looking at things and you see them out in reality. This also has some real inherent limitations. And really the limitations are, number one, that this is not a way to walk around the world, right? This is like, hi everybody, how you doing? Nobody wants to do that. Number two, the processing power required to use computer vision to lock onto an object and actually identify it is significantly more than can be done in this. And because there's the motion, the inherent motion of moving things around, what you do is you get this floating effect. And so in other words, I could pull up the layer browser and use this to sort of see all the coffee shops around me, but they'll just sort of float in the air. And unless you're playing like a ghost game where you're trying to find ghosts or something, it's not a very good user experience. Other people are using it for things like dress up. And this is a company called Zugara, and they do a lot of these kind of dress-up applications where you can stand in front of it and it can shape to you. And finally, there's another one with a sort of a marker-based experience where somebody's using a webcam, putting a marker in front of it, and you're seeing 3D objects on it. What we found is that it was just fun. Like the stuff that worked with AR was just a fun, easy experience. That because you can't control the environment of somebody using their webcam, it's really difficult to do effective computer vision. And that is probably never going to change until they change some of the technologies. And they have some great new technologies they've come up with. What Whistlebox did is we looked at this, and here's how we got into it. The short story is we did user-generated video, and we were doing a lot of kids projects where the kids were recording themselves. And we were working with Angelina Ballerina. It's a property owned by a company called HIT here in town. And one of the things we did for them is we were having kids record themselves dancing with Angelina Ballerina. So we literally just had this little mouse dancing around. And we found this was incredibly popular. They still have it up on the site to this day. The other part of it is to look at kiosks and look at controlled environments. And as long as you can control the environment, you can create these amazing AR experiences. And also, targeted toward kids makes more sense because the novelty quickly wears off with adults right now. So where are we heading with AR? Well, we're looking at like AR headsets, and we're looking at all of these goggles, and Google's supposed to be coming out with goggles this year. Apple's got patents for AR headsets. I got to tell you guys, believe it when you see it. I mean, it's going to happen, but I'm not sure how quickly and how good these things will be. Where AR does exist right now is with the Microsoft Kinect. This is an amazing device. If you guys don't know, the way the Kinect works is it combines a camera with an infrared, like it's an infrared laser. It basically shoots out all these infrared dots. And there's a detector then that can see where the dots impact. So what you can do is create a 3D environment, right? And you can the computer can actually see in 3D. And not only that, it can create a 3D skeletal model. And once you've got that skeletal model, you can do amazing AR experiences really well. So we did this for the U2 concert, and people would go beforehand, and they would just walk up, and they'd have this great fun experience because everybody likes seeing their reality augmented, right? It's so fun. We built this so you could, if you want to, just sort of like walk in front of someone else and steal their head, you know, and so you got all this great interaction from people. So I think that part of building great AR experiences is to not tell people what to do, is to build environments and let them play. The question is that, you know, is it going to happen or not? It's definitely happening. One real quick story. So I went to the AR events, and I'm showing my little kids' cartoons, and I'm sitting on a table next to this guy, and I was like, well, what do you do? And he's like, oh yeah, I build AR headsets for the military. And I was going, really? Well, what do they do? He goes, well, when you're in combat, they paint the good guys blue and the bad guys red. So like you go in and you're just, and it's all like satellite uplinked and whatnot. And this stuff's happening right now. So that's where we are with AR. We'll see what we can do with brands.